This happened about, well, at least, let's say, 10 years ago, maybe even more than that. So it's been a long time since this happened. It was in high school. I would have been anywhere between 12 to 14 years old, somewhere around there. Basically, the teachers called the cops on me. And I'll explain why. It is ridiculous that they would call the cops over this. It's ridiculous, and you'll realize how ridiculous it is when I say it. So what I did was, well, I got peer pressured into doing this. So I had a friend, and he wanted to get a copy of a bus pass, like not a legit one, but like a copy of one. I had a real one. Like, I had a real bus pass, and he wanted to use the photocopier to get a copy for himself, which is obviously illegal. You're not allowed to do that. But children will be children. It is what it is. He's a good guy. And then one of the teachers saw him doing this, and I was with him. So then I quickly grabbed my pass and ran into my class to get on with my lesson, because my lesson just started. So I quickly grabbed it and went in. And then he got caught because the teacher literally saw him doing it. And then he got into trouble. The police got involved. By the way, that's ridiculous. The fact that they called the police over that is, I didn't even realize how ridiculous it was until I mentioned it to my friend recently, and he was saying, they called the cops over that. That's ridiculous, and it is ridiculous. Like, I never thought about it, but that's genuinely ridiculous that they would call the cops over that. Like, I never considered that up until like 10 years later, literally a few days ago, when I was telling my friend about this. And he was saying, yeah, that's ridiculous that they would call the cops over that. Where he was trying to use the photocopier to get a copy of my bus pass, and that is stupidity. I don't know why they would call the cops over that. Fair enough, we'd get into trouble over it, but to call the police is ridiculous. But anyway, so they called the cops, and to be honest, the cops didn't really do much. I mean, what can they do with children? I was like, what, 13, 14 years old maybe? They said that just don't do it again. I don't remember exactly what they said. It was a long time ago. But they were basically saying, don't do it again. I was, sure, I won't do it again. And that was the end of that. But the funny thing is, before this, in school, I personally, what makes it even more ridiculous that they call the cops is that I never got into trouble in school. Like, I never got into trouble. If anything, the only thing that I used to get in trouble for was, like, not doing homework. Beyond that, like, outside of not doing homework, I would never get in trouble for anything. Like, that's the one thing that I wouldn't do. Like, I just wouldn't do homework. Eventually, I started doing it. I found a way, like, I don't have to do it at home. So what I can do is, what I did was, I would do it, like, during lunchtime, during break time, before the lesson started. I started doing my homework at that point, like that. But in the early days of school, I never used to do homework, because I don't know, I just didn't do it. But it is what it is. That's like the only thing that I would ever get in trouble for. So the fact that they called the police over something like this is... You would think I beat someone up or something. Like, I'm bullying a kid and I beat him up the way they called the cops. But it is what it is. To be fair, this certain teacher wasn't my teacher. I'm guessing the teacher just didn't know me, because if they did, they definitely wouldn't have called the cops on me. That's literally no way. I would have been in trouble for that, but they would not have called the cops if they knew me. But the teacher didn't know me, so it is what it is. But even then, though, it is ridiculous to call the cops on a 13, 14-year-old kid for something like that. Yes, discipline the child. He's in trouble. Detention, some things like that. Tell them not to do it again. Make sure they don't do it again. And then that's the end of that. But yeah, so that was basically that story. And thing is, the funny thing is, I remember one time when I was this was volunteering, by the way, me and my friends, and there was a reason we were volunteering here. But basically, we were litter picking, just cleaning the streets. It was volunteering because we had to do it for something else that we were doing, like a different project called Duke of Edinburgh. Like, to do that, we had to do some volunteering. So we were litter picking, and then some teachers saw us through the window. Like, the thing is, we didn't realize this at the time. I only found out later on because my own teacher told me, because he was there. So basically, these teachers behind the window, we didn't even know they were watching us, but they were like, ha 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 ha, look at these kids. They get what they deserve. They mess about, they find out. Force them to pick the litter. And then my teacher, he told me this, and he said that guy there, Sean, he's my student. I know he wouldn't be in trouble. That teacher had my back. Like, he knew that I wouldn't be in trouble. So then he asked me later on, and he told me that this is what happened. And he asked me, like, why were you doing that? And I said to him, I'm doing this thing called Duke of Edinburgh. And for that, we need to do some volunteering work. And we chose to do litter picking as one of the options. So we did that because it's an easy thing we could have done after school. So then I explained that to him, and he was like, "Yeah, I knew you weren't in trouble. That's what I was telling the other teachers because they thought you were in trouble." And this guy had my back. He knew that I wasn't in trouble. That's my guy. That's my guy right there. But so he knew that I wasn't in trouble, yeah. Because obviously he's my teacher. He knows me better than the teachers that don't teach me. Obviously he knows me more than them. But the point here is, yeah. So he had my back. I rate that teacher. And just to quickly explain what Duke of Edinburgh is, which is the project that we were doing for the litter picking and whatnot, Duke of Edinburgh is basically a thing where, like, it's basically a hike, and then you stay there overnight, so it's a lot of walking, like it's a massive walk, and then you use your own tent, and then you stay there overnight and you sleep there. There was a group of us doing it with the teachers. The teachers would obviously have their own place where they're staying, like they're just chilling, and then the students are in these tents, and that's where I was, put up our own tents, and then we sleep over, and then we do the massive walk for the day. Or I forgot how long it was. It would have been maybe like 2 days or something like that. I can't remember, but it was really fun, by the way. But that's basically what Duke of Edinburgh is, and that's why we were doing this. And we'd make our own food, we'd put up our own tents and things like that, and that's why we were doing litter picking, because we had to do like extra curricular activities for this Duke of Edinburgh. So what I was doing was I would play chess, I would do this litter picking, and a couple other things that I don't really remember. But yeah, it was fun, by the way. That was really fun. But that's why we were doing the litter picking, and that's why the teachers thought we were in trouble. But then my teacher was like, "Nah, my guy, that's my student right there, and I know he's not in trouble." But the main story of today is the fact that the teachers called the cops on me in school, which was so dumb. Like, if you think about it, like, it's 12, 13, 14-year-old kid, however old I was at the time. Let's just say 13, 14. Like, to call the police on them over something like that is the dumbest thing I've ever... Like, that's genuinely dumb. And like I said, if it was one of my own teachers, they would not have called the police, because they know me, and they know that, like, this is like the first thing that I've done wrong in school. Like, they're not gonna... And even then, even if I was a kid that messed about a little bit more, like, even then it's not something that you would call the cops over. Like, so it's just ridiculous. But hey, it is what it is. Nothing big happened from it, so it's fine. Everything worked out. Everything worked out, so it's all good. But anyway, do me a solid. Subscribe to the channel. I'm trying to grow the channel. It's not easy to grow a YouTube channel, but hey, I'm trying my best. So do me a solid. Subscribe. Also like do those things, because it does help out a lot. But anyway, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Ta-ta, adios, and bye-bye.